Alright, in this video I wanted to explain how to find a reference angle and also finding corresponding angles. So for instance, let's start with, we have an angle that's 110 degrees and I want to know the reference angle to that. I'd really encourage you to draw pictures for all these questions just to get an idea. So remember 0 starting over here, 110 is, maybe there, okay, since 90 is straight up. So the reference angle is asking, oh, I wish I had a marker that worked besides this one. I'm going to try here, is trying to get to this flat level over here or on this side. So we're trying to get to 180 degrees, or we're trying to get to 0 degrees. So whatever's closer of a distance is going to be the reference angle. So from 110 degrees to get to 180 degrees, that difference here would be 70. Let's write that down. If I were to go the other direction to get from 110 to 0 degrees, that would be 110 degrees, okay? So we want whatever one is the smallest distance, so not 110, it's going to be 70. So whatever side you're on of the circle, the left or the right side, is going to determine whether you're trying to get to 180 degrees or 0 degrees. It's only those two values where you're trying to reach. So the reference angle for 110 degrees would be 70 degrees, okay? And the reference angle just tells us that I'd have the same height at 110 degrees as I would at 70, right? So it may not look like it, but those heights are going to be the same exact amount. Let's practice a few more of those. So I'm at, let's say, 210 degrees. Okay? I'm on my circle, 210, 180 straight across. I want to be a little bit past that if this is 210. So I'm on the left side of the circle, so I'm going to try to see how many degrees it would take to get back up to this 180 degree mark. Okay, so that difference there would be 30 degrees. And we don't care whether it's up or down, we just want to know that amount is 30 degrees. So the reference angle for 210 would be 30 degrees. Okay, it would take way too long to get over to this other side, so we're not going to use that angle. Reference angles are always between 0 and 90 degrees. Let's look at another angle. Let's keep going. Let's say 310. Let's say my angle is 310. I'm going to draw a picture. 0 is over here. Now 270 is straight down. 360 is over here. So I'm going to go kind of in the middle-ish, if that's 310 degrees, which means all the way around until I stop here. And I want to know this time how far it would take to get to 0, since I'm on the right side of the circle. So how much is this gap right here? So you get from 310, 0 is also called 360 degrees. Oops, you probably can't read that, but we'll try. So how far to go from 310 to 360? That would be a difference of 50 degrees. So our reference angle for 310 is 50 degrees. Again, meaning that would have the same height if I'm here at 310 or 50 degrees, this is the same amount. Okay? It may not be the same up or down distance, but it's the same absolute value of the distance. So those are all reference angles. So again, reference angles are between 0 and 90 degrees. Let's look at one more, or a couple more that may be a little bit more confusing, I guess. And we'll talk about corresponding angles as well. So let's look at something that's directly in the middle. Let's say at 270 degrees. Okay, so on the circle, that would be from 0, that would be straight down. So I'm on the middle, so to get to 180 over here is going to actually be the same amount as if I were to go to either think of it as 0 or as 360 over there. Either way, it's going to take me 90 degrees to get back up to that flat ground level. So 90 degrees would be our reference angle for 270 degrees. Okay. One other one, let's say we have a 30 degree angle. I want another reference angle for that. So I'm going to draw a picture of that. So roughly here. So how far it would take to get to the ground level. Again, I'm on the right side of the circle, so I'm going to see how far would it take to get to here. This 30 degrees is actually going to be the reference angle for itself, is 30 degrees. Okay. All the angles in the first quadrant over here are going to be themselves for the reference angle. So anything like 75 degrees, that reference angle would just be 75. Or, 14 degrees, the reference angle would be 14. Okay? So reference angles are between 0 and 90 all the time. Let's also take a look at corresponding angles. So for instance, I give you an angle that's 50 degrees and I want to find the corresponding angles. Okay, so these mean actually all the places that would have the same absolute value of the height or the sine. So I'm going to draw a picture of about 50 degrees is about here. We've talked about this in terms of the screamer, and we want to know which other places on the circle would have to travel the same distance if their little seat on the Ferris wheel stopped. Where would they also have to travel the same amount as whatever this is at 50 degrees? Well, these corresponding angles, they all have the same reference angle. So I have a reference angle of 50 degrees. I can use that to help me find the corresponding angles. We know straight across is 180. I'm going to be about somewhere over here. And to find this big angle to reach here, I know this little angle is 50 on the inside. So something has to add up to 180 to make this bigger angle and the 50 together to make 180. So another way to think about it is just do 180 minus 50, and that'll tell us this big angle. So this one will be 130 degrees. Okay. If I look at another one and try to get different colors, I know they don't work very well. So again, this is 180. I can go 50 degrees past 180. So I do 180 plus 50, and that would give me this angle in the third quadrant, which would be 230. I need to go back to the other marker, I think. Okay, so to get into the third quadrant, we're going to do 180 plus 50. The last spot that would have the same absolute value of height would be in the fourth quadrant, which again, all these little angles on the inside are 50. If I were to go all the way around the circle, that would be 360, but I'm going to back up 50 degrees from there. So this angle all the way around and stopping is going to be 310 degrees. So all of these are the corresponding angles to 50 degrees. Corresponding angles will be 130, 230, and 310. Okay, so they all have the same reference angle. Corresponding angles is usually referring to there's 4 total places on the circle that'll have the same absolute value of the height. So we can use that reference angle and then go up or down from 180 on this left side. We'd take it away from here to get this spot. We'd add it to 180 to get this spot, and then the last one we'd do 360 minus the reference angle.